do you two want to introduce yourself to start off?
Okay, well, my name is Miss Colors. I mainly play Call of Duty, but I've been delving out into other games, like other FPS games, like X Defiant and the finals and stuff. Um, what else?
Do you see
Go
why
to
I
go
was
to that
struggling
card.
at
Go to
the
that
intro?
card.
And I guess like you got name training like earlier this, like early
I've
this
been
year,
aim
late last year.
training. Yeah, I've been aim training since late December, early January. And then I took it like properly, seriously when I got back to my place. Because I started like at your place.
Yeah.
And I was on a bit of a scuffed monitor.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And yeah, you're already
But
like
you,
what? Are you GM2 or just GM1 with no viscose?
I'm like yeah, basically I'm almost Grandmaster complete in season 3.
Let's go.
And then my
Okay.
target switching is Nova. So yeah, kind of the best player around, to be
Kind of
honest.
good.
But
Actually, really impressive for your hours put in.
It's fucking crazy. You're
so
doing better than I was at like 400 hours.
I'm a very competitive person, especially if there is like a leaderboards and you know, the little spreadsheet you can put your scores in. Seeing the number go up gives me such dopamine.
Because like you weren't really playing that much, and then I sent you the season 3 like tracked leaderboard, like worldwide leaderboard, and then you're like grinding.
Yeah, no, I mean that's been my past though in Call of Duty and stuff. I would grind leaderboards and just something about seeing the number get bigger and, you know, improving every day. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
is motivating to me.
But, your introduction now, thank you.
Try and top that.
As an FPS player, I've got a background in TF2, bit of AFPS, tiny bit of kovaaks. I'll get into my aim trainer, like my relationship with aim trainers later, because it's a bit
Yeah.
interesting. I feel like it's going to come up, so I won't talk too much about that now. Aside from that, done a few videos on YouTube about kovaaks, keyboard layouts, mouse excel, stuff like that. But yeah.
And one on the Azeron keypad that anyone who hasn't seen should go watch. I am going to promote you.
Oh yeah, I also do
if you won't, I will.
It's a good video.
Thank you. I also do the videos for Voltaic along with Laura.
I guess I'll just get into the questions then. And the first one.
What about you?
Yeah, excuse me.
Okay, I was a Counter-Strike player, then I started aim training, and now I play like variety FPS and just try to aim well in them. That's kind of like my thing. I make educational aim videos on YouTube as well as like peripheral reviews and stuff with the angle of like, you know, how does this mouse impact my aim or whatever. And yeah, I mostly focus on aim training stuff, but I like to be good in and aim well in games as well.
Alrighty.
Okay, question number 1. And I chose this one because I feel like it'll let us kind of introduce a lot of things about our backstory in relation to name trainers, which is from Weeaboop. What games made you start getting interested in aim training in general or aiming in general in the beginning? And did you start aim training to get better at a specific game or just to get better aim in general? Who wants to go first?
I'll
feel like
go first.
Yeah, sure. I feel like I've talked about this a lot, so I'll go last.
I mean, for me, there wasn't a specific game. It was literally kovaaks itself that I got into and that I wanted to improve in. And then improving in game was kind of like a second factor. Like it wasn't the main reason. And I had tried aim training beforehand. I was the Aim Labs grid shot player. I would play like 5 hours of it and then get on COD and be like, oh, aim training doesn't work. Play the game instead. I was totally clueless, and it wasn't until I met Laura and she helped me set up my kovaaks, and like give me the proper settings and the playlist and the spreadsheet and all that. That is when I got into it. And yeah, like I said, it wasn't like to get better at a certain game. It was to get better at kovaaks, and then yeah, it had the extra positive of helping me in games.
I actually had no idea. I thought you got into it to
Really?
get better at COD. Yeah,
No, because I mean, it sounds I sound full of myself, but I thought like I was really good at COD. Like I didn't need to improve that much, and that I just playing Call of Duty itself would improve me. And I
Have
didn't
you like
realize
proven
how
yourself wrong then?
yes, because I didn't realize how much I was lacking in aim compared to like I would just rely on knowing the maps like the back of my hand, knowing the meta, the guns, and all that. Um, and then since aim training, I've realized like I can go to other FPS games and be good like within the first hour of playing, you know? I never used to be able to do that. Like I would always have to spend, you know, a week or two getting used to the game, getting
That's
used to the
still pretty
maps.
fast.
Oh, well, you know, in general, when you compare the two. And yeah, I didn't realize how much I relied on all that extra stuff because I was lacking in aim. And then since doing kovaaks, I feel like it's kind of like I feel much more confident going into gunfights. I don't second guess myself or, you know what I mean?
I do. And I don't know. I had
Yeah.
no idea. I thought you got into it for COD.
No,
So when I was like introducing it to you, were you just like, oh, I guess I'll go for a good rank on here too?
yeah, I mean, well, I just set myself little goals. Like, what was my first one? I think I wanted to get gold complete.
I think
I remember
so.
telling you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was
gold
gold
complete.
complete.
And I didn't know how long that would take me, so it was just like a little goal.
Oh my gosh. I remember I asked you like, what about like a long-term goal, you know, something to shoot for over like years? And you said, oh, maybe Grandmaster. Or you said like Grandmaster or Master Complete.
It was master complete, I do remember. Because I
That's
thought it would
right.
take me like a lot longer. I didn't think I would get into kovaaks as much as I have. I thought it would be something I do maybe, you know, an hour or two a week before I play my games.
It fell down the
Um,
pipeline.
yeah, you've started an addiction, Laura. Thank you. I must click the dots every
I
day.
wonder how many like collective hours I have caused to be put into kovaaks. Actually, Pingu, that's a better question for you. Because
Hmm?
like, because of your kovaaks
Oh,
video,
how many have
like,
caused?
yeah, because
God.
all of the people that I have gotten into kovaaks, you indirectly also got into
Is
kovaaks.
that fair? Is that part of
Yes,
like the butterfly effect? I don't know
that
about
is a
all
part of the
that.
butterfly effect. Um,
That's funny.
do you want to give your what was the question again? What
How I
game
got
made
into
you
aim
get
training.
interested in aim training? And did you start aim
Yeah,
training to
yeah.
get better at a specific game?
For me, it was kind of multifaceted. I guess the main part of the story is that I was really into Apex at that time. I really wanted to be like the next Asu or whatever. And I was trying to do training of some sort. So I would hop on aimbots before while I was like in queue for my Apex games or whatever. And occasionally even like, you know, Apex is known for its downtime. So I wanted better ways to like particularly focus on aim. So what I would do, I would make them strafe and put them like with a bunch of armor and then like turn off recoil, things like that to have like really strange tracking practice. But there's also like a lack of feedback when you do that. And before I even realized you could turn off recoil, you could I would use like a pistol and just like try to track like
Have I told
plus
you that
attack
I
and
had a
console.
friend who like would play aimbots and put them on like max speed, but just like wouldn't shoot the bots? They'd just like trace them back and forth as they'd strafe across the map for like hours
That's funny.
Hours.
with no feedback.
I
Oh
did
my
all that too,
goodness.
but I mean, like if your reading is good enough, it probably would be fine. But I didn't trust my own judgment enough, I guess. I wanted some feedback. So yeah, that's when I don't remember how I first found kovaaks FPS Aim Trainer because this is when it was very obscure, a little project from a Reflex player, um, and I guess I must have just Googled like FPS Aim Trainer and I found it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is perfect. So yeah, I gave it a go. And then the multifaceted part was the fact that I had seen these people on YouTube who did like these 30-day projects, like 30 days of piano, 30 days of you know, bouldering or whatever, just random skills for a certain amount of time. I'm like, this has never been done in the aim training space. And it's something that people generally believe doesn't make sense. Like you don't need to. So it'd be a cool experiment to take this idea on into and answer a question that a lot of people have. So it got me into it first.
Did you anticipate how well that video would do?
The goal was virality, but obviously not. I was
What was
super.
virality in your mind at that point?
I don't really know. I was just like penetrating some greater audience. I didn't have a view count in mind. When I posted it on like the r/aim trainer subreddit, it ended up with like 12,000 views or so, and I was like really happy with that. My previous video got like 14. So yeah, 12,000. I was like, this is insane.
What's it at now? I'm gonna look it up.
Probably like 7.9.
How the fuck do you know that? And that started this whole like trend of like 30 days of aim training.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I guess
yeah, even
it's-
I copied it, and it's my most popular video. So thanks, Pingu.
No problem.
I guess
no
it's a
problem.
skill that lends itself to this like, 30 days format.
Yeah, I
Because you
mean-
realistically can make a good bit of progress in 30 days.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Happens in a lot of different games. People going for like, why 1 year progression with oaths or whatever. It makes sense why people want more testimonies, more stories behind their own training process. And even now, it's still not a question that is like solidly answered in a lot of people's minds. It's like so many skeptics, so many years after I made that video. But yeah.
Do you feel like I don't know. I want to say the landscape surrounding like the discussion about aim trainers has changed. I don't really know what it looks like outside of like aim trainer spaces, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I still see a lot of people who are skeptical, and even within the community, there are people who are like, "Oh, it doesn't work. It's not worth the time."
Mhm.
Do you feel like
I
anything's changed since your initial video? I guess from
I think so.
uncertainty to
It's something that some people are willing to try now, and then there are people who are really good that will continue using it,
yeah.
As opposed to in the past where everyone was so uncertain of it that they didn't even like bother.
Yeah.
Which is strange to me because you look back at like older like Counter-Strike pros advice and stuff. I remember there was a video by I think Nothing, and he's like, yeah, shoot a dot on the wall and then shoot another dot and then like shoot the 2 decals.
Yep,
And you
I
gotta make
remember
sure the
that.
decals are like small. And it's like, why not just play static at that point? You get feedback, it's like more targets, it's dynamic, you're not flicking to the same like distance every time. It didn't happen for years. I don't know.
Not enough
I mean,
RNG, Kovacs.
I saw another comment on your post that was like, it's really intimidating to get into, and that's how I felt as well.
That's fair,
I
yeah.
think if you don't have someone who can help you out with it, like if you just boot it up for the first time, say aim labs, it's like it's very messy. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's the battle passes, It's like
I'm in
like
the
how
audio now.
how do you? Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm back. Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, hello.
Sorry.
I did that.
If you just boot it up for the first time and then
It's just very messy. Like aim labs, and Kovacs, both of them are like not beginner friendly, I would say.
no.
Unless you have someone like a friend who can help you out with the best settings and all that. And yeah,
How is
it
that-
is intimidating. It was for me.
How is that new, like, I forget what they called it. They use like the humanoid bots and Kovacs. Like, how good is that experience? You know what I mean? Like, they have some sort of tutorialization method that I've like seen nothing about.
Yeah.
It puts you in that beginner scenario. That's like,
Kovacs beginner sandbox.
yes.
Maybe.
Which is okay, but like it doesn't, I don't know, like have you
No,
seen
I
the
agree.
default Kovacs?
There needs to be better ways of getting into it. It's kind of like TF2 where like new players need to research a lot just to have the game be
Yeah.
playable.
And for me, that put me off because it's like an aim trainer. I feel like I should be able to boot it up and just immediately go
Right.
into it. I shouldn't have to like optimize.
For sure.
Like I feel like with Kovacs, like the first time you boot it up, it should just link you to Maddie's video on like best settings. Here's your crosshairs. Here's your themes.
Yeah, I was
Do
gonna
they
mention
have-
like videos explaining things like that, but I feel like even for most people, even a YouTube video is like too much like
for
effort
sure.
put in.
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, nah, fuck that. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry,
Do they
screw
have
that.
like presets for like skins or themes?
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's good.
All of them are average. I don't like any
The
of
only
them.
one I like is Cloudy Marbly, I think it's called. That one's okay. That one's clean.
That's funny.
I have been meaning to make like a my kovaak settings video, and I want to explain why I have everything the way I have it. And like, people ask me like, oh, why do you use this sense on this scenario? And it's like, I don't want to have that in every description of every one of my videos. So I think making something to explain that could be good. But even for like, even that kind of video would only appeal to people who are already past the point of like, the interest threshold where they're already committed enough to give it a proper go. I feel like, yeah, you're right. That first experience of booting up aim trainers is just so overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like an overload of like things like, oh my god, what do I do? Like even like scenarios, like there's the ones that are like automatically pinned for you, but I mean
It's
it's like
probably
what,
why
like
so
Tile
many people
Frenzy.
default to Tile Frenzy and
Yeah.
Grit because they've
Yeah.
seen clips of like tens playing Grit Shot and they're like, well, tens played.
Yeah.
Did I answer this question? I don't think I answered this
No, you
question.
didn't. It's your turn.
For me, it was Counter-Strike. I got destroyed by someone in the Sparky Aim, which used to be Voltaic Steam group, and I'm like, okay, what is a Sparky Aimer? How do I get this? And from there, I tried the benchmarks, and I had tried aim training before that, but it didn't really grab me for the same reasons. Like I tried what became Aim Beast, then I tried Aim Lab, and they didn't really help, so I went back to the workshop map. But then after, trying the benches and having something to like grind for, I kind of lost interest in Counter-Strike and started just playing other games and aim trainers because I found them fun. I don't really think I need to give too much more depth than that. We've already spent a while on this question.
Yeah, but it's like a 3-hour podcast. Cut some shit out.
Okay, we'll do one more name training and then we'll do a more general one. If you could only have 5 different kovaak scenarios to help improve your overall mouse control, which one would you choose? And that's from Stone.
Pole switching, 360 easy.
Just like 5 variations of pole switching?
5 of that. No, but for real, that scenario got me hooked.
Yeah, that
Do
was
you
like the
remember that?
catalyst. Because like I had shown you a few scenarios before, and you're like, all right, I might play it sometimes.
Yeah.
Then I showed you pole switching, and you like sat there testing all of my mouse pads for like what, hours?
Hours. Yeah, I think just because it's like what I specialize in Call of Duty, like target switching and like it feels like a very COD scenario.
Yeah, and it's
I was
flashy.
like, I can get down with this, Like if I go play passive, I'm like, oh my god, I can't hit a single bot.
Does that make your
I
top
hate
5
this.
list though, pole switching?
Honestly, yes. And not the normal version, the easy version. The normal version is like hell on earth. I hate it.
Should we construct this list together? Let's try to pick 5 scenarios.
Okay. So
would you put pole switching up there? I think it does have a role in like
are
we like eliminating every other scenario?
Yes. This is 5 scenarios only.
I think it does have value. I feel like the skill floor being so low for that scenario is really good too.
True.
Because like you can get good at it, but it's not hard to do decently.
No. Because I remember like first few days of grinding it, I got like 106 or something. I'm like, holy fuck, that's amazing. Even though it's like not, but I was like so excited to break it.
Okay, I think pole switching can stay. I don't know if it'd be on my list personally. I'd probably put more control focus stuff, but
yeah,
pole switching is good.
But like,
that's my contribution.
I think one thing that a lot of aim trainer mains struggle to improve at is flick speed. Especially like arm-based flick speed. So pole switching does have a role there in terms of its like greater contribution to your mechanics.
As well as I think one of the most underrated things you can practice in aim training is like audio awareness, directional audio awareness. It's something that I got very good at through a different 360 target switching scenario, and I think it helps a lot with just like being aware of what's happening around you in games and being able to pinpoint where sound is coming from.
I'm not sure how obvious it is from like your frag videos, but like watching you play live is really interesting because you will flick to people off screen that I definitely would not.
Yeah.
You have like a very like the ability to have good accuracy on your initial flicks from audio, which is crazy to me.
It's probably because of those like scenarios.
Right.
I feel like my off screens are kind of luck, whereas yours are like you fucking know where they are. You pinpoint that shit without seeing them.
Well, there you go. 1,000 hours of target switching 360 static, the really bad one, and you can do that too.
Have we compelled you to put it in the top 5 or no?
Target switching 360 static?
Well, is that one better than pulse switching for you?
For
I feel
directional
like it could
awareness, yes.
shift
Overall,
if-
no.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
We have to throw an air scenario in there
Yep.
too.
Okay.
right?
I was gonna say I'm gonna add my contribution, non-negotiable air. What do I put? Air
Yeah, which one do you put?
voltaic intermediate.
Okay.
There are some days
would
where I'm
agree
just
with air.
not feeling like the really hard one, but I definitely want to push myself a bit more than easy. So if I had to go one air scenario, it would probably be that one, which is a shame because it's like not played.
Dang. What's next? Pokeball, I think it should be deserves a spot too.
Yeah, I think one Pokeball scenario.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then we're gonna have to cut out a category. And I don't know if we can do that for static.
Hmm.
The thing
That's
about
tough.
Pokeball is like I don't actually enjoy Pokeball scenarios, but I can see that it helps me,
Okay.
which is like annoying. But you know,
What about like a wide wall 2 targets then? That's like a sort of middle groundish.
If I were to single out one scenario, it would probably be one wall two Pokeball.
Okay.
Or just one wall two normal.
That's fair.
I'm just gonna put one W2TS then for static. I think we need a dynamic scenario. I think Matty would like have our heads.
I love B180. I absolutely love B180.
B180 is fun.
Passy
So it's
though,
better for practice.
I think Pasu
though.
definitely clears. It's unfortunately.
no,
Unfortunately. At least it's not popcorn.
absolutely not. I prefer popcorn over
Oh,
Passy.
you've lost your mind.
No. Popcorn is like a good I'm practicing like sniping, you know, if you're like trying to compare it to video game. Pasu is like, what is going on? Like, why am I doing this?
I do think we need one arc reading scenario of some sort.
It might be a skill issue thing on my part.
I'm
though.
gonna put passive voltaic because I think
Okay,
that's
okay.
really good. And we got one more. We got one more scenario.
Popcorn. Popcorn with the pigeons.
The fat
That one.
pigeons.
Fat pigeons popcorn.
So what are we missing here? We don't have.
So we have speed
control
TS. We
sphere.
have track. I think it's got to be control sphere. You're right.
Yeah.
But then we have. I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
I feel like out of this list, if anything were to go, it's pulse switching. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it would. It would be.
Yes, I agree.
And I think we'd swap
well,
it out.
that's a decent
for,
5 though.
I think it's a decent 5. I feel like I would be okay if I could only play these 5.
Sorry.
That said, though, I got this question a lot, and I was gonna answer it in my 12 questions video. And it's like, you know, if you could only play one category, like what would you play? And I dodged it for that video, and I in the Patreon video I explain why. And it's like, I know if I say that, people will treat it as like, okay, I have to only play like control focus scenarios now because then I you know, maximizing my efficiency. And like, no, you know, there is no list of 5 scenarios that will give you like insane well-rounded aim. It's better to play a nice variety.
What would you replace pulse switching with?
Probably PGTI or a variant. It includes
Oh
arc
my
reading,
God.
it includes
I'm
overheads,
outta
it's
here.
precise.
PGTI?
It's really good. I gotta play it
Okay,
more.
there's
Oh
only
my
5
God.
scenarios. Has to be done, unfortunately. It's a necessary evil.
I'm making an
And the
trainer with
podcast.
only these 5 scenarios.
It's gonna flop. No pulse watching.
I think that's an okay list there. I'm happy with that.
It's not bad, yeah.
It is. It is good.
Do we have TS on there?
Pulse
If we get rid of
switching.
pulse switching?
No.
Okay, I see.
It's unfortunate. I think TSs are kind of like if you train Pokeball correctly, you can get similar benefits to what
Yeah.
TS offers.
that's
When
true.
you
Yeah.
limit it to 5, it's like it's tricky.
You're
It's
right.
hard
Um,
with only 5.
Yeah.
Good question. though.
Okay. What change had the biggest impact for your aim? Was it like a specific mouse pad or mouse or something like proper elbow support and posture? I'm curious if it was something as simple as changing mouse and pad combo until you find one, or if it was more of an environment change.
Interesting that the only answers we're allowed are like, you know, variables that you can like buy, basically. It's not like a mindset thing, but I guess that's kind of the point of the question.
I guess so, yeah. The
I can go
you know,
first.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like for me, I have two. First would be glass mouse pad. Kind of forced me into learning better fine control and controlling tension a little better,
Hmm.
which was kind of like a necessary thing. It was hard to do that consciously, but when I was forced to do it because of the glass pad, it was a bit easier. And the second thing for me would be fingertip mice because it plays to my style quite well.
God, I think the juxtaposition between our answers is going to be a bit funny. Mine was getting a mouse pad faster than a HyperX Fury S and getting a mouse lighter than 130 grams. That was that was it for me. Everything after that has been like optimizations, but nothing that was like groundbreaking. The rest of it just came down
That
to
makes
practice.
sense.
I never got into any like really niche peripherals, so
I mean, my answer is a mix of both of yours. My first setup was like a $10 like RGB mouse pad that wasn't even, it didn't lay flat.
wasn't it a
I would
desk
have to
mat?
like, no, my very first one was like it was off Kogan.com, which is like an Australian site for like, it's like AliExpress for Australians. And I was like, oh, it's RGB. That's cool. I'm gonna buy it, you know? And then I get it, and yeah, it doesn't lay flat. It was, looking back on it, at the time I thought it was fine. Looking back on it, it's like the worst mouse pad you could ever have. And I
I
had,
actually struggle to like remember what those felt like. Like, what does a $5 Temu mouse pad even feel like?
it's
I don't
bad.
remember.
It's bad. It's like the worst mud pad ever.
I used one for a
But
little that had like a cricket on it and it said like nature at the bottom and it had like the wrist rest. And I used that in Counter-Strike on like 50 cm and I was just lifting my wrist over and over. But
Oh my
I don't know,
god.
that was so
I
long
kind
ago
of
that
fuck
it
with that
doesn't
though.
count. The nature
But yes,
mouse pad.
anyway, I had that mouse pad, and do you want to guess what my first mouse was?
Ooh.
I
It's gotta
have,
be
okay, I just
the
want to say I have 16 by 9 centimeter hands, so like on the small side.
G502.
Yes, with the weights in it, because I didn't know better, and I was
All-
like, damn, why does my hand hurt so much every time I play games?
all the weights.
That is great.
Yes, all the weights, because I didn't
You
realize
were
you could
wait-
take them out.
God.
I didn't know. I just bought
They
it.
come
I
with
was
them
so
pre-installed?
clueless. I bought mine off of like eBay, or it wasn't eBay. It was again like the Australian eBay. And yeah, it had weights in it. And I'm like, every time I would play for like 3 hours and my hand would be so sore and I'd be like, oh, I guess keyboard and mouse just isn't for me. And I kept going back to controller. And then, yeah, eventually I was like, I got a Model O, which in 2 weeks bricked itself
Oh
while
my
I was
god.
That's
updating it.
insane.
So I had some really bad luck with peripherals. I wish I had someone who was like, who could help me.
Well,
'Cause I was a-
until you met me, you're on like GPX or Viper VT Pro, right? Which are like way too
Yes,
large.
which are way too big. But again, I was like, these are, I look up like, what's the best mouse for FPS? And it's like these mouse. And I didn't realize that it's like, it really depends on your hand size. I was very
Yeah.
much in the casual crowd. I can say Laura has helped me a lot, for sure.
Have we answered that question well enough? Because,
Is there anything else
peripheral-
outside of
yeah.
peripherals? That you're
Like
talking
I guess
posture and
monitor.
how you sit.
Not really. I've been doing the armrest thing for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, maybe monitors, I guess?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Besides that, though, it really was just like I had to practice more. I had to play more.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't think there's been any peripheral upgrade that wasn't from like awful to good that has like significantly changed my ability as a player.
For me, it was more like a perspective shift too, as opposed to being like just straight up better. And both of them took a lot of practice for them to actually have benefits.
I mean, that makes sense as well because, like, with glass, you have to learn like a different style as a whole.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I also just wanted to add, my first proper mouse pad was a SkyPad 3.
That's
because a lot of people-
crazy.
A lot of people told me to get it. I was asking people, I was in people's, Twitch streams. I was like, what's like the best mouse pad?
Really?
And
What
they're
year
like,
was this?
SkyPad. It was
20
Vanguard's. It must be
22?
20.
I see.
Yeah, around there. But I also don't regret starting off on my
Mhm.
first proper mouse pad being a sky pad because I feel like it taught me mouse control faster than if I'd
That's
been on like
interesting.
a controlled mouse pad.
Huh.
I think
I
it's a
feel like
miracle
that's
you're
like
able
jump.
to like stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. Because I played such high sense that
True,
it
actually.
was
That's true. That's true.
going from like
Interesting.
what is like basically a big mud desk pad to sky pad. I was like, this is awesome, you know. At the time I was playing COD on like at most 15 centimeters, and it just felt so smooth to me. I'm like, this is cool. I can
It's
do a
really
2TS.
it's really interesting to think about how different you would be as a player if you'd never met Viscose.
I would
Would
be
you
a
still be
much
on
worse
15
player.
CM?
I think so, yes, and I
That's
would be
so
again
cool.
Like
much
wrist
worse.
only, arm hanging off the table, not using it at all.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When I went to your house, there was like 3 different things that you were like, you need to not do this. I would have my like hoodie on and I would have it on the mouse pad. I'd be sitting way far to the left. You like literally like physically pushed me over to the right and was like, try this.
Is it domestic abuse?
No, 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 not like that.
Yes.
Just carefully, and you're like, yeah, try this out. And like immediately I was better and I was like, why didn't I do this? What the hell? Am I dumb?
Okay, I guess that answers the question then. Like, the posture stuff, I guess there can be like egregiously bad posture. And the checks for that are like, is your arm centered on your mouse pad? You're not coming at it from a crazy angle. Are you approaching the mouse pad from your elbow to your wrist, like reasonably straight on? And can you use your arm and your wrist to aim? And I'd say those are the like main things, because there are specific stuff, but like I got you to try my armrest idea, and you didn't like it, right? You weren't a fan?
No, I couldn't get into it, but I think it's because I have pretty short arms, and it just felt strange to me. Maybe if I stuck with it, but I couldn't do it at the time.
I mean, hey, you found what works for you, so
Yeah,
okay. I'm
thanks to
glad
you.
I'm glad we got an answer out of that question, because I felt a bit bad just like leaving it. What else do we want?
The aim translation one.
Let's do a break from the aim stuff.
Sure, sure.
How did you all meet each other? I have to rack my brain for this one. So,
For you and I, or
yeah,
really?
because
Well,
I
Pingu
remember
and Viscose
now.
met before I met any of them, so
We'll
you
go
go
with that one first then. I saw your videos back when you were first posting the kovaak one, so I've known of you since like 2020.
And the first contact was different.
What was that? You left a
You
comment
don't
on one of my
remember?
videos.
I did. I don't know if that counts though. There was like that, the YouTuber creator interactions where like, follow back, but we never exchanged any like real words to each other.
It was a
Do you
diabolical
remember?
group, right?
Yes.
And we
But how
never
did that
played
group come into existence? We
diabolical.
never played Diabolical. The 8 people in the group never played.
And
Just
I
like every other
messaged you.
AFPSP group.
I messaged you to apologize for something, and that's
Yes.
how we DM'd. Because I messaged
So how
you
did we get
saying,
in that group in the first place? Do you remember?
"Oh, you're quizzing me." No.
wow.
And unbelievable.
Big fan.
It was we met in a stream chat.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we would have talked
Now
about it
she
there.
remembers.
Somebody like asked you to come join the stream, and then we saw each other there. We were like meaning to talk to each other for like a little while, but never had the opportunity
I
until
think
that
I think
moment.
we both wanted to as well.
Yeah. And then I remember we had a small conversation about like geology. I'm like, oh, are you into it? And you're like, no.
Little mate.
Well, it came up somehow. I think you had a friend who was like really into
Yes, yeah.
geology, and did I show you the gold that I panned for when I was really little, and they let me keep it?
That's cool, actually. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'll have to show you
Such an
that.
Aussie thing.
I mean,
Classic
didn't you
childhood
have
memory
like?
of panning for gold.
Is that not
I had
normal?
it too. No, I had it too. It's an Aussie thing.
Oh, I'm not going to say what town it was, but there's one town that like everyone who lives near me has gone there to pan for gold as a part of like a history class in school.
That's cool.
And then we talked about
Mm.
the wrist rest.
Yes,
What's
I
it
was about to
called?
bring that up. Is that you immediately clocked me with like a peripheral that I would like.
Yeah.
You hit me with like this is like first time we met. You hit me with the Carpio, and I still think about like whether or not it would be good from time to time. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like longer. Well, I'm glad I posed an interesting question. It still got you
Yeah.
pondering.
It's like, oh, I feel like you'd like this. Didn't know. Eventually, it would be part of my setup with the slice in half OP1AK.
And for you and I, JD, we actually interacted before me and Pingu did. Because you versed me in COD and destroyed me.
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say destroyed you.
I would.
You clipped me and put me on your YouTube. I hate to admit it.
Classic.
Okay, this may be true. But you won the game. I got completely demolished, and I said hi in your stream after.
Yeah, and I just remember because I knew of you, of course, and I was like internally, like if you go back in the stream, I was probably acting cool, but like internally, I was like, oh my god, it's viscose. Like,
Well, you
you had a
acted it off
different-
pretty well. I had no idea. I had no
you
idea
had
you
a
knew of
different
me.
name in game, and
Oh yes.
yeah, and then you came in my my chat and was like, GG, I just versed you. It was something like that anyway. I'm like, holy fuck, I just versed viscose. What the fuck? I didn't even know.
Oh my god, that's funny. No, I had no idea you knew of me. You hit it very well.
I literally like followed you on Twitter and stuff. I do remember as well when you followed me back. I screenshotted it. I sent it to Sleeping Bunnies. I was like, "Look at this shit."
That's cool.
Oh my god,
It
that's
was
funny.
yeah, it was definitely a starstruck moment. How far we've come, by the way.
And then after that, we were actually in the same room, IRL, without knowing. I guess you
Yes.
would have known. But
I knew you were there, but I wasn't gonna be like, "Hey, Viscose, where are ya?"
and I guess you would have known the day. But yeah, PAX Melbourne 2022.
Yes.
I went there for, I don't remember, but I met a few people there. It was really good, and I didn't realize that you were there.
Yes,
There was an
know
AIM
because I passed
Labs.
the AIM Labs thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and it had your name on it. I'm like, that's Laura. That's Viscose.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I want a mouse keyboard and mouse pad, and my dad still uses that mouse pad. So,
Really? Oh my god. What mouse
he's
did you get him
on
on as well?
XMT. He's on XMT-WE and a Cordura, like a cloth pad.
To play Farming Sim.
Yeah.
Face as fuck.
It's so funny because I remember Eric being like, you should DM her, meet up with her, you know, say hello at least, get a photo. And I'm like, I'm literally nobody. I'm not gonna bother the woman.
I would have been taken aback if I was asked for a photo back then. I'm not gonna lie, because I was not anybody either.
Sure. She won the AIM Labs PAX 2022 competition.
Is that the one you went to with Death Skull?
Yeah.
I see.
You were everything at that event.
No, it's funny. I didn't realize until a good bit after we'd been together that you were there and that we were there on the same day. So we would have been in the same room.
I think it took a while to tell you. I don't know why. I think I was just a little embarrassed to be like, yeah, I was too shy to come up to you. Sorry.
And then when we actually like properly started talking, would have been late last year. I think I was in your stream because of the MW3 beta.
Yeah,
Someone wanted me to ask you for your cold loadouts, and you mentioned ADHD, and
Yeah.
I had some advice to give for like a few specific combinations of things that you and I both have, and I DM'd you after, and that's how we started talking.
Yeah, legit. You were like, DM me after the stream. I'm like, I'm in, lads. It's my chance.
And to think I was worried about being annoying, like, oh my god, to check DMs after stream.
No. It's so funny.
And then
So silly.
how did I introduce you two?
Probably Minecraft first time, right?
Yeah, it would have
Yeah,
been.
We played Minecraft, but like me and you didn't really talk much.
That's true.
Pingu. We didn't
That's
really
true.
interact. I was mostly off with bunnies building the big Among Us statue and stuff in the
Still
Minecraft
still
scenario.
need to burn it down.
No.
It is so funny that somebody joined the server to be a griefer and like insta kill everybody, but he didn't harm any of our structures except for the
Yeah.
Among Us statue.
No.
He's got a base for that.
No.
Helping restore the landscape to its natural beauty.
Yeah. No.
The fact that it was right next to my house as well.
It dropped your property value by like $100,000 or something. It's
Legit though, I had to
evil.
go make a cave house. Get away from it.
Did I tell you I had a conversation with a person who came and griefed us? I asked him about his like hobbies and stuff.
Really?
What did
Yeah.
he say?
He said he was
Griefing
into
in
like
Minecraft?
3D modeling and 3D printing.
Oh,
Just a
Yeah,
bit of
that's cool.
casual Minecraft griefing on the side.
yeah.
Fair enough.
We all
I
do
had
it.
misdirected him enough to get my items back before he murdered me again. At some point he spared me.
It's so weird though. I feel like killing is like the least impactful thing a griefer can like do.
Yeah, burn your chest down with all your diamonds.
Okay, do
But I
either of you
remember-
two have the tweet open? I'm curious what questions you two would like to answer.
The apple juice conversation?
Apple juice
Maybe?
Wait, what's that
conversation.
one?
Somebody asked
Oh,
our opinion on
yes.
apple juice.
Okay, let me find it.
I can hear you scrolling.
I think it was
Okay.
Raven.
Thought on apple juice.
I haven't drank apple juice since I was like 8 out of like a little carton with a straw.
What do you think about the perception that apple juice is like a kid's beverage? Do you think it's valid?
I mean, it's just apples. Like squeezed apples. Anyone can
Okay.
drink that.
Yeah, you grew
Yeah,
up with this.
I'm
But to
kind
be
of on the
fair,
same
I
page with
haven't
you,
I
unfortunately.
haven't drank it since I was a kid, so maybe
What
they're
side
onto
are you on?
something.
It's like a juice for fruit. It can't be for children. But
I
people are
am-
like, try a grown-up beverage. Try orange juice.
I am an apple juice fan. I like it a lot. It's like, I don't know, one of my favorite like fruit juices, up there with blackcurrant, and probably only beaten if you mix it with blackcurrant and have apple blackcurrant juice. That is really good.
I prefer orange juice, but that's just me.
I also didn't know what a blackcurrant was, and I felt dumb. And then apparently it was only made legal like recently.
Yeah.
What is in
It's a
your
drug in
juices?
America.
Approximately 35% of the people viewing this will have never been able to buy blackcurrant juice because it was outlawed in America until like 2017.
America's
it's-
crazy. You can
and
buy
it's like the
AR-15, but
Yeah.
blackcurrant, no.
And it's like the best juice. Y'all are missing out.
Not about best, but it's up there.
It's good. Very good.
Bit of like, you know, the tropical, like the orange, the pineapple,
Oh, true.
bit of mango maybe. Oh.
Have you ever had like hand
hits.
squeezed orange juice?
I have, yes.
It is
It's
so
Really?
good. So
It's different?
good.
Dang.
so good.
That might be the best, actually. Like, I don't know. I'm not too
I mean,
keen on
speaking
like
about
the
food,
Yeah.
go on, sorry.
I'm not too keen on like the juice box orange juice, but like freshly squeezed.
Really?
Oh my god, it's so good.
I like either.
I'm just like
But
indifferent
yeah,
about it.
someone
Uh-huh.
asked about cookies as well. They said crunchy or chewy? Wilted
Cookies?
violet. Yes.
I think always chewy for me.
Interesting.
Especially warm though.
What would you say, Laura?
If you asked me before I'd tried Anzac biscuits, I probably would have said crunchy, but after that, I don't know. I really
There's
like
only one
the
right answer.
the chewy, like Anzac biscuits.
Yes.
Good.
Mate, I would go to Subway just for the cookies. Those like really like the warm, chewy cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, those are
yeah.
really good.
Oh my god.
I definitely don't dislike like crunchy ones though.
I'll eat a crunchy cookie, but if I was like in charge of like buying them, I would buy chewy.
Honestly, crunchy cookies barely spark a higher level of dopamine than just like raw sugar. There's not too much about the experience that's more enjoyable other than like, oh, that's, that's sugar.
That was the nerdiest
Yeah.
way to say that.
I mean, it's Pingu. What do you expect?
Well,
I know I've already answered this in the video, so this is more directed at you two. What is your take on the wired versus wireless argument in 2024?
It's very case by case. I feel like there pretty much is no argument unless like the wire is horrible. But even then, that's still case by case. Like wires have come so far that you can definitely use one and never notice it, and then the rest of it would just come to the rest of the spec sheet plus the shape.
I think price as well is like the defining factor
Yeah,
for
yeah, that's
me.
true.
If you can cut half the price off a mouse for the same product with a wire, like absolutely. All else
I just
equal,
don't know
I would
any other
prefer wireless
brands.
though.
I don't know any other brands doing wired well enough to, put their hat in the ring. It's really just endgame gear, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was always a
That's okay.
okay.
Sure.
I was gonna say I was always a Razer Viper Mini girl,
Mm-hmm.
and that is obviously wired.
What got you to swap off?
I don't know. I went to like wireless is better, because everyone says that like
Yeah,
wireless is
yeah.
better. But then yeah, when like eventually I got back to wired with the OP1 8K, and it's like, with the bungee, it's barely noticeable that there is a wire.
Yeah. Okay. We seem to all be on roughly the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why should he get into aim training versus practicing aim in video games solely? As people think aim training is useless and give the excuse, just play more and you'll get better, which is true to an extent. There's more reasoning behind this. Okay, I think I'm following. Who wants to go first?
I have a bit of a story with it, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, I don't think I've talked about this too much, honestly. Is that after my Kovacs video, I was very pro aim training. But there came a point where I was starting to question how, to what degree aim training actually does translate. Because at that point, I was seeing a lot of these like grandmaster players who didn't seem like that well rounded in games. So I started coming up with like trying to think of reasons as to why, because it didn't make sense to me that like you could translate your aim from the game to the trainer, but it wouldn't go the other way around. So this was around the time when I was playing a lot of Gundam Evolution, and I would run into these people who were obliterating my scores in like 1/6 targets, and then I'd watch their stream and they'd be like, "This isn't that hot." And ultimately, what it comes down to, I feel like, is mindset, where you can get a lot of value out of either practice of any sort, depending on how you approach it, and whether that's in an aim trainer or in game matters more than the tool that you actually use. But it took a while, and I also think the other factor as to why that happens is because the skill ceiling has been pushed so much since then from top aim trainer players that people who would play 4 scores, I mean, they were still good, like well above average, but the people who would base their technique around particularly getting scores would have issues translating aim. And I think at some point within aim trainer skill, you pretty much have to have good technique, or else you just can't get better scores. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like people say like a really high rank in aim trainer but not good in games. I don't think there's anybody past like Nova who you could really feasibly say is like a below average FPS player.
Below average,
or like
no
doesn't
chance.
Yeah, or like even
agree,
just
yeah.
like good aim. Like everybody has good aim when they try to play games. It's really just a question of like games have a lot of game specific skill too, and if you don't put the effort into applying your aim training skill, then obviously you're not going to be good at the game. And it's insane to assume that you would just be spawning in as aimbot.
I feel like that's what people expect though.
That is what people expect.
Which is absurd, right? Like
1 hour of grid shot, I should be aimbotting people. I mean, I joke, but that was literally me. Like, that's why I was like, aim training doesn't work.
I don't know. I feel like that is kind of at the crux of this, like, oh, aim trainers don't work thing. You have to play the game too. If you just
Yeah.
play aim trainers, like your raw aim will improve. I don't think that's a question. But if you
Mhm.
stop playing the game, you'll get so much worse at all those game specific skills that, like, going back to it, you won't be as good at the game as you were. And this has happened to me with Counter-Strike. It doesn't mean I'm a worse aimer. It just means I'm not as good at Counter-Strike as I used to be. But like, I'm sure if I did play a lot of Counter-Strike again, I'd be much better than I was before because my like mechanical ceiling has gone up so much, and I'm so much more consistent at those like mechanical elements. And I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts. Even with like.
Mhm.
I feel like this argument kind of exploded with like Matty's Valorant streams. Is
Yeah.
that fair of me to say?
I think so too.
And
Yeah.
watching those streams, because I did watch those streams, he has good aim in Valorant. He's hitting clean micros. He's very snappy on the micros. He's looking at aim alone, you can tell he's good. But he doesn't have the crosshair placement. He doesn't know how to deal with abilities. He doesn't have the movement down because he hasn't played the game. And it's the same as like getting an Overwatch Pro to try Valorant. And a lot of them did, and they did really well, but it took them a bit because they have to adjust to the new systems, or even like getting an FPS Pro to try aim trainers. They have to adjust to everything that's different there and transfer their aim over.
Yeah.
It's something that goes
And
both ways.
that goes back to the very first question that was asked. It was like, I was good at Call of Duty, aiming in Call of Duty, but then if I would go play other games, I would have to learn the game. My aim wasn't good enough to like carry me.
Mm.
Mhm.
Whereas now,
It also. Go
I
ahead.
think you've had the same experience as me, JD, where like when you get into a new game, nobody knows the systems yet. It's more about how well can you shoot, and like you're very good at shooting people, so
Yes.
you'll do well, and you can learn the systems as other people and then get ahead of the
Yeah.
curve. Really.
You kind of like the advantage, so
Yeah.
to say.
Sorry, Finger, you go.
I was gonna say it annoys me so much when people cite Maddie as like oh well, you don't need to have good aim in game to be like a good aim coach or something like that. He has good aim in game.
Yeah.
It frustrates me so much. Or just like, oh, he's that good at aim trainers, but he's not even high rank. He was top 500, was he not?
Top 100. Top 100
Top
DPS.
100. And like, watch his soldier gameplay. It's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
he sucks.
I may have convinced him to make a montage, and he's just finished it. So
Let's go.
leaking
Let's
that's
go.
going up sometime this week from what I heard. And I hope that really shuts a lot of people up because, oh my God, like he's good
It's
at
so
games. He's
frustrating.
just not good at the games he doesn't play. Like, and that's how it is for everyone. I am awful at platformers. I don't play platformers. You wouldn't like, I don't know.
Oh, you should see me in puzzle games. Oh my God. I have to stop
It's
myself
also
from pulling up Google.
It's so strange that people have this perception that like Overwatch is not really that much about aim, but then we'll also shit on Maddie for like not being that good at Overwatch despite being good at aim trainers. Like aim is only, a fairly small part of the equation.
Well, he's not
So
number one
then-
in the world, so
Oh, I
He's
see.
bad,
I see.
actually.
Yeah.
yeah, he sucks.
I don't know. It's crazy though,
Ratty
because
OW.
he has like 1,000 hours in Overwatch, maybe 1,500, which is low, which is really low for someone who's playing at like university tournaments and top 100 DPS. 1,000 hours across like however many years he's been playing the game. That's not a lot of time.
His lane performance was crazy too.
Yeah.
He was literally like the main character, just walking up and posturing all of the flyers.
It was really funny.
We watched that together, actually, just guys.
Yeah. It was good. Little watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I guess then to bring this back on topic a little, how can someone ensure that their aim from aim trainers does translate? Because I have a lot of technique related stuff to say that I think would go on too long for this podcast, but are there any general things that you two have done that have helped you like bring aim training performance over into games?
I think my answer to this is a little bit indirect, where I approach games with an improvement mindset, right? And that has led me to being like not spending that much time in aim trainers, but having what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of similar aim stylistically to aim trainer mains. Because of all like the VOD review I do of watching my own gameplay back and seeing like the aiming errors that I make. but I just chose to practice them in game for the most part at that point. And I think that's essentially what you would be wanting to do. Looking for your own mistakes, playing with the intent of getting better, not necessarily of getting a high score every single run.
Mhm.
And then a lot of the main fundamental practice methodology is starting slow. Because when you play at your max pace every single time to try and get a PB, it's like typing. Like you're going to make mistakes and you
Yeah.
will lose out on a lot of like the foundational learning that you should be doing as you're getting better at this skill.
Very well said. Do you have anything to kind of add on there, JD?
Honestly, not really. Pingu said it very well.
I have one thing, which is just like as a catch-all, like balance your time well. I feel like basically everyone who's had issues with aim translation, I tell them a ratio to shoot for in terms of balancing time, and it instantly helps them because if you're spending half your time in an aim trainer and half on the game, that is not representative of the skills you're going to be using within that game, and it's not relevant of how important, and it's not like relative to how important those skills are within the game. I say like 20% as a max, and like as you get better in aim trainers, that 20% of time should go down. So like if I wanted to really get good at a game, God, it might even be as low as 10% for me at the moment because I've, refined my raw mechanics pretty well and I got to learn the game. So yeah, I don't think you should spend more than 20% of your time aim training. And like most of the time I ask someone who's having issues with aim translation, it's like 50, 60% in aim trainers.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my main point, if I had to add something, would be like, don't overthink it so much. There's days where I only play kovaaks and I don't play any actual games. But it's still practice, as long as you're not like zoning out, it's still practice.
That's fair too, but you're also still like, you're operating that like 20% on like a wider scale. It's like month-long basis, not
True,
day-long
true.
basis.
I guess
Which
the
is
other
kind of what I do as well. But anyway,
the other aspect of the mindset thing is like practicing actively, where I approached all of those games with the intent of getting better at aiming, as opposed to a lot of people will play kovaaks with just the intent of putting in the time. 30 minutes, run through my playlist, log off for the day. I feel like just 10 minutes of thinking about what you're doing, not the whole time, obviously, but like, figure out particular issues you want to single out and attempt to iron those out with practice, as opposed to just going through the motions.
yeah, like taking note of your weaknesses and whatnot. Okay, I think we've answered that one. Maybe not concisely, but well.
My bad.
Do we want to go one or two more?
Sure, yeah.
What else is there?
What do you think about the future and potential of gyro aim for controllers and the hopeful removal of adjustment of aim assist in competitive gaming? This is very topical because of the recent Fortnite change, which has made me very optimistic. Can I talk a little about this?
Sure, yeah.
Jib Smart is amazing. He's really smart and has created a lot of the current like technology behind gyro. He is the creator of Flickstick and implemented gyro into Fortnite, and it's a really good implementation. And games have a tendency to copy what he does. So like all of COD's current gyro settings, they basically yoinked from him. And his recent human-like aim assist is in Fortnite, and I think is a really big step in the right direction. Because my main issue with aim assist has always been that you cannot out-react it, it will instantly adjust for your strafe. It removes all nuance in dodging because it will just track you through your dodges. And you cannot be faster. It forces M&K players to predict to keep up with it, which is not something you want to do.
Right.
By removing that element of that instant reaction time, it makes it far more achievable to both compete on M&K, but they can also buff aim assist if they really want to. Like they can make it track better. It just can't react instantly.
I agree.
Viscose says buff aim assist. cancelled immediately.
That's
From
gonna
what
be the
I've seen,
headline.
from what I've seen, I would not be opposed to Amos's buff in Fortnite.
Oh
I think that
my
would be
God.
fine.
No, I
In
do
COD,
agree that,
no
like,
chance. In COD, no
right.
Get her
chance. That
out
would
of
be
here.
ridiculous. Apex, I like the new nerf, but it's not like, you know, they're not addressing the core of the issue. This does, which is what makes me so hopeful. Anyway,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
two think?
I'm really curious how Fortnite players feel about the change because I don't know. At some point, surely you just get used to it tracking the fast stripes and then just like reacting to the longer ones, right?
Well,
It must be
JD, did that
jarring.
happen for you? You know, did you acknowledge like tracking and adjusting for direction changes as a component of aim when you're on controller?
Well, it's different when you switch from controller to KBM versus controller to still controller, but now my aim assist is different, I feel.
Um, it's really hard to say because when I was on controller, I was on console. I didn't know anything
True.
about aim training or aiming in general. I was honestly like, all these people complaining about aim assist, they're just whining, you know? It wasn't until I myself tried mouse and keyboard where I was like, holy shit, these people are onto something. Like, this is hard. You know, when I
That's
very,
funny.
very first went to PC, I had a pretty shitty PC, but I wanted to learn. Like, I didn't want to play controller on PC. It felt wrong. And I would play mouse and keyboard and I would get absolutely shit on. And I would go back to controller and I realized like I'm going back to controller because it's helping me. Like it's doing a lot for me. When I'm on mouse and keyboard, I am honestly a bit of a bot, you know? Like it's all my own inputs and I'm struggling. And that was
It's
my
cool that it
my
gave you
view
that
on it.
realization.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anyone who is in that camp of like, oh, aim assist isn't overpowered. I feel like they should play with it off for like a day. Even if you're on controller, play with it off or play mouse and keyboard, and you will see what everyone is complaining about. Like instantly, unless you're like living in the dark, or like you don't want to acknowledge it.
Like
You
willful
will see.
ignorance, you know?
Yeah, you will see. Like there is a difference, you know. Definitely enlightened me of like, yeah, you know, Amos is it's pretty strong. I don't want to say broken, but it's very strong.
I will
For
say it.
sure.
Instant reaction time to strafes is broken. It's
Yeah.
absurd,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
cannot compete on an
Yeah.
input like that
long
does
as you
not
say it.
react for you. I will say it. I don't think I've ever like really publicly expressed my opinions on aim assist. You know, I think buffing controller in a lot of games as an input would be fine. Like in Apex, you know, moving while leading, I think giving them access to movement tech that MNK has, I think that's cool. I think that would be really nice. But aim assist itself, like, you know, the fact that like you have to be well above average on mouse and keyboard to match the accuracy of an average controller player. I don't know if you've seen the graphs of like max accuracy on MNK versus controller and R5 Reloaded. It's like a 10%
10%,
accuracy.
yeah.
It's gross. It's
bad.
disgusting.
Same with Halo
yeah.
too. It's like 10
Yeah.
to 20%. Absurd.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to piss off my Call of Duty fans, but yeah, it's definitely there's a big difference between controller and mouse and keyboard. It feels like a different game, honestly.
All
In
of that
terms of Call
said,
of Duty.
though,
It's
are
really
you
a
two
crossplay
as
issue, too.
optimistic as I am about this going forward?
I think Jib Smart has like reignited my kind of like childlike wonder, like naivete. of like maybe there's still hope. But I feel like you're right in saying that Fortnite could buff aim assist's other functionality without now that like it adds that human element because it, you know, it's more possible to track
Yeah.
smooth arcs and things like that. It's just not possible to instantly react to strafes. I have
Well, that was
such
the
a
whole
hard
reason
time.
he did it, actually. That was the whole reasoning of adding this humanized like aim assist, is so they could buff it.
Right. On Call of Duty, though, it would just be a massive nerf. And I cannot imagine a COD developer wanting to piss off so much of their main player base.
Yeah, it's like 80% of the player base.
Because like the main issue here
casual
is
controller players.
crossplay.
Yeah.
controller within
think-
itself, there's still skill to be had, and it can be like
Yeah.
competitive in a way. But it's just when they play against each other is where we have issues.
Like, put the worst controller player up against the best controller player, like, Scump or something. The worst controller player will get owned, like, completely,
Yeah.
like 30-0, Like, there is skill to controller, but it's like the instant reaction time and stuff like that. That just, it's too much if you're going to have input-based matchmaking, or not input-based matchmaking, sorry.
Yeah.
And just have everyone versus everyone, mouse and
It was
keyboard
kind of
controllers.
crazy in like X Defiant.
Yeah.
When like we would have to turn it like back off because we weren't finding games, and we would be like, "Wow, they killed me really fast." Is the netcode like different? Am I lagging this game? It's
Yeah,
like,
legit. I would check my ping. I'd be like, "Am I lagging? Like, I just got two shot." No.
So then we can talk about gyro if you want to.
I'd love to, because I have a hot take that I don't know if anyone else on the planet agrees with, which is that I think when mastered, gyro aim plus flick stick on a controller is better than mouse and keyboard. I think the ceiling there is higher. Whether that will ever come into play is dubious, but I think the potential there is higher.
I
Anyone who
don't
doesn't
think you're alone
know-
in that. I think all of the people in
Okay.
my comments trying to tell me about gyro would agree
Would they
with
say
you.
it's better than M&K? Like,
I think so. I mean, there's a reason why everyone's like, sounds like you're looking for gyro.
for anyone who doesn't know, flick stick turns the right joystick on a controller from being like a 360-degree look stick to a 1-to-1 directional stick. So if you point it straight down, you'll do an instant 180. Point it straight to the left, instant, like, you're looking straight left. And it's a 1-to-1 correlation between where you point the stick and where you look in game. So if I hear a sound on my left, I can instantly, like 0 ms, flick to my left.
It's very cool.
It's really strong, and nobody has gotten really good with it yet. I think it would lead to gyro outperforming M&K without aim assist. And I don't know if it's ever going to be picked up by mainstream controller audiences. I think it's possible just because of Splatoon and the amount of support. Like, I'm sure we've all seen it on Twitter, there's like 80,000 like tweet, you gotta try gyro on Splatoon.
I've learned one
But-
other wrinkle about the Splatoon argument, though, is that when you play without gyro, where you're using the sticks, you don't get aim assist.
Yeah.
And that would never happen in Call of Duty, right?
No.
I feel like there is just no shot. And in general, it's I would say even bigger of a leap to go from controller to gyro than controller to MNK.
Real? I guess so. Because I didn't
I
struggle
agree.
going much to gyro at all. I found it quite easy to adjust to, but I have M&K experience, which is more analogous, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean,
guess it's
for
like-
me,
Yeah.
sorry.
You would be a good person
For
to
me-
answer this, actually.
For me, going aim assist to no aim assist was a huge thing. I did not realize how much it was doing for me. I could not stay on target. I would like horizontally like shake so much. And I have tried gyro. I just feel like as much as I want it to be like mainstream, I can't see it ever becoming super mainstream. Especially in like Call of
but
Duty.
it would need like a crazy string of coincidences. Like,
Mhm.
let's say the
Yeah.
next Splatoon is like Fortnite levels of popular, and then all the people who pick up gyro in that game want to use gyro in all the other games, and it would
But
need
even
Microsoft
then,
to like
it's like-
implement gyro on their controllers. I think it's possible. I don't think it's likely. What I think is more
Yeah.
likely is this humanized aim assist stuff getting
Mhm.
widespread
Yeah,
implementation.
yeah.
I hope so.
I
That would be
really
cool.
hope for that. That would be amazing.
That
in
would
Call of Duty.
actually fix crossplay.
I
It
think so.
would,
Yes.
It would.
It is
And I'm-
insane. Going back to play Apex DM, getting every time you die and watch the kill cam, because they had a kill cam just so you can see what happened. It looks like cheater gameplay. Like that, it is the most defeating feeling to be like not at Laura's level.
You're good at Apex. Shut up. Stop trying to downplay.
Right.
yourself.
That's
You're
the
good at
thing.
game.
Is
No,
that
I agree. I'm good at COD, but I'm not on your level of aiming.
right? You can compete with these insane level
Yeah.
12 bloodhounds. Me as a good Apex player cannot. But for
There's-
gyro, I don't know. Yeah, it's such a huge thing to ask of the COD player base.
There's one thing I want to add as well. With the Black
Mhm.
Ops 6 beta, they actually nerfed aim assist within, I think it was 3 meters. You
That
didn't get
sounds
aim
right to me,
assist.
yeah.
And the difference is so noticeable as a M&K player. I would not get melted up close. Like if I barrel stuff someone, I could usually win the fight unless I missed.
Did you
Whereas I
start like diving past people as well? Like you do the dolphin dive over their shoulder and they
yes.
just couldn't hit you?
And then I've gone back to
I got that bad.
MW3 where there isn't aim assist nerf at close range. And it's like I have to wait. I have to wait for them to push me. I cannot push them up close. Otherwise I just get like aimboarded, basically. And it's such a huge difference. It's crazy actually how different it is.
I guess it is promising then that they are willing to make a noticeable change to aim assist, you know? And I feel like a lot of controller players would be, I don't know, happier with a more humanized aim assist. And if
Yeah,
they're
I
not,
haven't seen too many people, like especially the top players. I haven't seen too many top players be like, "This is terrible," you know. I feel like they're all pretty okay with it. I still think it's a bit of a weird change.
I
I feel
agree.
like
The
the
distance one?
rotational aim,
Yeah.
the rotational aim assist is the thing that's like busted. You know,
Right, yeah.
I
agree.
understand controller players, they need aim assist, you know. I understand
Mhm.
that. I don't think aim assist should be like completely deleted. It's just the rotational, the inhuman like reactions, the zero
Yeah.
MS, like you come out the corner and they're instantly tracking you. It's like that is the problem.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am happy with this 3 meter nerf. For sure. I can see the difference. I can feel the difference.
I will
That's
say that
good.
as somebody with less COD experience and somebody who wasn't actively thinking about that particular nerf, it didn't feel like it made that much of a difference. Because if I was playing like I was playing against, humans,
Yeah.
you have to know that nerf exists to exploit it. And I think for the average person that, it's too much niche knowledge to have that be the balancing factor.
I agree. It definitely feels like a band-aid fix that doesn't address the real issue, like what Apex did with the, 0.4 to 0.3 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I agree, Band-Aid fix, but also like
Yeah, I'll
as an
take it.
M&K player for COD, I will take that shit.
There's
Like,
nothing wrong with a band-aid, you
yeah.
know?
Thank you. It's something.
Yeah, I'd say overall, we all sound at least somewhat optimistic. It seems to be trending in a positive direction, unlike where it was before, which is just like, worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
I think with gyro, it's going to be its own niche thing. And there's going to be
Agreed.
like a fair few people. And
I think it will
I think
definitely
it's pretty
become
cool.
a significant like niche though.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a growing niche, but I can't ever see it becoming the main input method for controller players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Unless they
fully.
have to, like Splatoon.
The average controller player, they just got home from their 9 to 5. They just want to chill. They're playing on their fucking recliner in their lounge on their 90-inch screen. Input lag galore.
I feel like those kind of people wouldn't really care as much about an input change, It's like when the layout of a controller changes.
Maybe not, but I feel like they will, like, if they were just put on gyro and they didn't know, they'd be like, something's wrong. Like, there's something wrong with my setup,
I think it's a skill floor issue too. Like the skill floor of gyro is pretty high, as opposed to normal controller.
With current aim assist, 100%. But when everyone gets equally worse, I don't think they'll feel it as much. And yeah, I feel like the super casuals wouldn't really care. It's like the mid-tier controller players who are like, I'm the best at the game. I beam all these noob M&K players that would be really upset about being forced.
They would be upset. Yes, I can tell you.
Are you thinking of a specific person?
I don't want to say, but yes. But it's just thinking about Call of Duty as well. As I said, I'm a Call of Duty main. It's
If
I'm
you
not
think
sure
she's
about
thinking
other
about
games.
you, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying shit, okay? I'm not calling anyone out.
No, I'm glad we're all like optimistic about it at least. I feel like things are headed in a positive direction, even if they're not where I want to be. And I feel like, having someone like Jib Smart like doing something about this really publicly, is
Mhm.
really good to see. And, you know, I can't think of any single developer who I would rather have spearheading a project like Humanized Aim Assist.
It's very surprising to see that in like a
It really was.
like mainstream game.
I think he was able to
Um,
sell it through the lens of like, we can buff aim assist with this, and MNK players won't mind as much.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, I do feel like controller needs aim assist. They just don't
Absolutely.
need the 0 ms reaction time. You know.
I feel like anyone who says controller should have no aim assist doesn't know what they're talking about. Because
Yeah.
They just hate controller players and whether they suffer.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of like input-based matchmaking, but living in a region that's so small, that has a small player base, like it would just kill games completely for me.
Yeah.
You know, being an OCE, like if I was an NA or something, I would be fully for it. I'd be like, yeah, that's input-based matchmaking should be the way forward. But
I like what XDefine did, where you could just choose. I feel like that's
yeah,
the
I
obvious
like
answer.
that.
It's
And then if
so
it's like
weird that games like Apex make it so controllers can choose, but we can't.
Yeah,
What is
I
this
don't
like
get it.
oppression?
Okay, I think we've dwelled on that one long enough. Let's do one more, and then
Okay.
we're already a good bit over time. Who wants to choose the last question? Because I've chose most of these.
Personally, I feel like we should answer. Do people force you to use cheats that you use, or do you just do it because you like the attention?
Let's go one at a time. I'll answer last.
Personally, I install cheats because yes, I like the attention. The 100 likes on Twitter, it really just gets me through the day.
Yep.
Your
I also
turn.
cheated in my my Azeron frag video because that's really important
Yeah.
to selling movement
I
of
could
a
tell.
And
freakish
the
claw
bomb party
device.
montage.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had like a dictionary up on your second monitor.
Yeah, nobody is
Yeah.
that good with words. I refuse to believe it. As someone who got a D in English, I refuse.
Do you cheat your ballad song like videos as well? Or
She
are they
got
real?
Those aren't public yet, so I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Next episode.
I'm glad though
Podcast number 2.
when he called you out, I was sure that it wouldn't include me. I wouldn't be good enough to be accused of cheating. So I baited him a little bit. Like, surely this does not include me. It does.
It's
I looked
all
at your
over your
page.
page.
It's flooded.
He says, because I looked at your page, it's flooded. Flooded for what?
Flooded.
Oh, we love hands.
I don't know. The cheating accusations, like I've had people say like, "Oh, I didn't let it bother you." I just find them very funny. Like especially
No,
people
it's-
like Hans. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
It does not bother me. I actually love it. I have a folder on my desktop that's like accusations. Like I love it. I screenshot them all. It's actually such a confidence boost.
There are
For
some
me,
people.
anyway.
Same, yeah. It's actually a bigger compliment than like anybody could give me.
Yeah.
Like anything that you two say would not be as flattering as Hans calling me a cheater. You two are biased. He's not. He's biased
Thank you,
against
Hans.
me.
Thank you, Hans. You've helped us a lot.
I love Hans.
I got some comments like that on the Azeron video. People will like pick up timestamps. Like, you can see it in this inhuman micro adjustment.
Yeah.
I was like, what? You think I'd really cheat? Like, to just ruin my channel for what? Just so I can sell one extra Azeron? Like, I don't understand logic.
That's also assuming that you're like an Azeron like salesperson, you know?
Yeah. I'm on to you, Pingu.
Or maybe I'm just doing it for fun. Think I can pull the wool over their eyes.
Yeah, me with my Call of Duty gameplay. Just have to be the best.
Do we wanna oh wait, no. There's one more. Would you rather fight with your life at stake in any game of your choosing? 1 VT Matty or 10 Voltaic Jades?
Jades,
Any
give me
game?
Jades.
Does it
Any
have to be an
game.
FPS?
Oh shit, true.
Any game, give me Jades. I'm telling you.
I think
right.
in,
Matty's built in.
in a game, I would take a Matty because a 10v1 is like evil. In kovaaks, 10 Jades any day. Like
Okay, are you fighting them at the same time, or is it like a
Back to back.
That's what I was thinking.
Back to back.
Oh, if it's
I
back
was
to
thinking
back,
10 at the same
Jades.
time.
If it's 10 at the same time, I'm choosing Matty.
Really? I think I could defeat 10 Jades at once.
Well, you know, you could get like the Voltaic Jade who's like benchmark grinder, only plays kovaaks. Or you could get like, I don't know, who's a really good Voltaic Jade? Is Mel Jade?
Nobody.
Mel might be Jade overall, and like I would get rolled by her in game.
That's
No,
like
put
the
her in
rank
put her in
people
Call
who
of
don't
Duty.
main.
I'm rolling her.
That's like the rank that people who don't main aim trainers, but like insane at their main game, can get without trying.
Right, it's scary.
So,
it's
yeah.
scary.
If you put me in Valorant, she's rolling me. Put her in Call of Duty. Please, I beg.
I would take the 1v1 with Matty, unless it's like kovaaks and like they all have to play a scenario once each, and then like I have to play the same sen and beat all of their scores. Like the highest score, I have to beat the highest score from all the Jades. Then I think I would beat them.
Well, I'm not very far from Jade, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but like, what's the odds? Like, you know, your lowest score, like, you know, you have a bad run, it's like master. What's the odds one of them flukes a master score? You know,
Flukes. It's Jade overall. They could have like GM on that one scenario.
Yeah.
You never know.
Shit. Okay.
They got like Astra targets or
do.
something. I get my shit owned. It's embarrassing.
And I guess if you lose to Matty, it's like okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's Maddie. Whatever.
Could take my life.
God.
That's the premise of the question.
Shit got too real.
Okay. Do we want to call it there? That's been quite a long
Sure.
podcast.
Hour and a half podcast.
I'm happy with that though. I think it was
It's
good.
fun.
I
Leave it
did
for the
down.
questions down below in the comments.
Yeah, if you want a part 2, leave some questions for part 2.
Actually,
Well, answer
yeah,
them.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. I would have had no idea what direction to take this without like all the questions kind of guiding us. And if we do this again, I'll probably. Do we want to guess? Do we want to get a guess then?
Maybe.
I
It's
don't see
cozy
why
like
not.
this, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
All 3 of us message Maddie right now. He'll have.
Then we'll ask him. 1 VT Matty or 10 will take Jades.
Yes.